Hi everyone, this is Maria from So Organised Style Podcast, and with me this morning I've got...
Hi, I'm Amy Chute. I'm the Brisbane correspondent.
Hi. Now, because we're both, and quite a few of you, are working from home or in some sort of social isolation, we thought we'd just get together for about 10 minutes every day and just say hi and tell you what's happening in the sewing community and maybe even what we've got on our sewing desk. Would that be right?
Yeah, or we can talk about some cool sewing content or fashion content we found on the web.
Exactly.
Because this afternoon I came across the Metropolitan Museum of Art's YouTube page, and I spent about an hour looking through all the videos from their previous year's collections, going back to the first big one of Alexander McQueen. And so I spent the afternoon the evening drilling over dresses. So I'm super inspired now. All I want to make for the next Frocktails is a Charles James Clover dress.
Describe it for me, because I haven't gone down that rabbit hole yet.
Oh, well, so the Clover dress is Charles James's really, well, it's the piece that a lot of people will recognise. It's a ball gown,
right?
But the skirt shape is literally in the shape of a clover. So the bottom of the skirt is in, that clover shape.
Yeah.
And so he's got 3 tiers of the skirt and then the bodice. And so the bottom tier has this, I believe it's some black silk velvet, and it's kind of a wavy pattern. And I think it's a really interesting use of, the underpinnings of a dress. And I've seen, because I spend too much time on the internet looking at stuff, I've seen Christian Siriano do very interesting things as well. And maybe, not Marc Jacobs, the other one I'm obsessed with. I'll think of the name later.
All right.
But yeah, so it's really interesting, like couture kind of underlying things. And I think it's interesting for sewers to see things like that because, we do something at home that it can be a lot more simple, but it's nice to see that we're connected with this whole world of sewing and also a history of sewing.
I think, by doing it the way you've done it, you've saved yourself thousands of dollars in air flights and accommodation. I mean, we can't fly at the moment and won't be able to for a while. However, it is really good to be able to go down, find those sorts of sources at various museums just to keep us inspired.
Yes, and I think that keeping yourself inspired at the moment is something that we will really need to do because, you kind of feel like it's not you against the world, but you kind of hiding from the world. But we've got to remember that we're doing this so we can have a future.
That's right. Yeah, a really strong future. So back to sewing and back to looking at designers that inspire. So you've said Alexander McQueen, and I would totally agree with that.
I love the McQueen look. I love the I'll use my arts degree. I love the juxtaposition of the hard and the soft. I always think that that's super fascinating. And he does, well, it actually makes sense given his mental health issues, but he really was obsessed with, figures that show death. So he had a lot of skulls on his things. And I think that's really fascinating to have that. And because, fashion is this funny world of hard and soft. You've got the labour of the sewer and, the hours of sitting at the machine and doing all of that. And at the end you have this soft, beautiful, floaty dress. Yeah, you've got all this hard work and then you've got this beautiful outcome. I think it's a very human thing, I think, really.
Yeah. I mean, when you get an opportunity to see the inspiration that a designer goes through and the variation on the same theme that they go through to get the final outcome. And if you were to just look at what it is that they've made without any of that stuff, all the hard work, all the inspiration, trying different fabrics, different textiles, you think, oh, yeah, that's nice. But when you see it and you see it from its starting point, that's really what gives you the, okay.
Yeah, and it's funny because I've never really studied visual art. My art training as a teenager was all in music. And so fashion sewing is the only visual art that I've been able to quote unquote be good at. And so it's actually interesting. It's art that I can understand. I find personally, it's very hard to look at paintings and understand what it means. But if it's a dress, I get it. I can see,
Yeah.
because I'm a natural, history kind of nerd. I've got books behind me
Yes.
on, history and stuff. And so I'm really interested in that. And I love, one of my favorite things to do is watching the historical SOS on YouTube.
Are there any that are your favourites?
Oh, there's so many. I love Bernadette Banner, but mainly because her voice is just exquisite. She's American, but she's quite the Anglophile. She has a master's in fashion history stuff. So she's great, but there's, Enchanted Rose Costumes. She does beautiful things. I'll just bring it up on my YouTube because I'm sure I've got other ones.
I'll have a look at the ones that I know or that I follow on.
I think that those will be really good ones for people to kind of go down the rabbit warren of, because I think if you're someone like me and you really want to go into the back history of everything, I think it's really interesting to go back and look at the evolution of clothes and things like that.
Yes, they are. I found one of the guys that I've followed, Pinset Tailoring. His name is Zach Pinset.
He's got a broken arm at the moment, but he is.
He does
amazing.
too. Oh, the poor thing.
But he actually is a proper tailor. I'm also really getting into the closet historian. She's got a fashion degree, but she's really into recreating kind of 40s kind of clothing. She's really cool. I love her stuff. There's also Angela Clayton. Angela's been around for a while. She's got patterns with, is it Butterick? And then there's Costuming Drama and Morgan Donner. And also Carolina Zabrowska. I hope I pronounced that properly. It's fun to say. She's another fashion historian. She released a video today about the history of hating corsets.
Hating corsets?
One of the things that I've found, that I have learned from the videos, if I'm to believe the videos, and I'm sure I can, is that corsets weren't always tight-laced. And it was actually something that Carolina's thesis was that that notion came about in the late 19th century as kind of an argument against feminism, an argument against women getting the vote. And so they were trying to say that, women are doing this stuff. They're very, infantilized. They're only concerned with, looking good.
Right.
But that ignores, however long of history of corsetry that women have worn. And women wore corsets and worked around the house and worked in the fields. It was something that they wore every day. That was a garment that allowed them to do those things. It wasn't always something that just made them these creatures that could only sit there and look pretty.
Okay, so it wasn't just for shape, it was also for support, I suppose.
Yes. And if you've made a corset for yourself, you'll find that if you've fitted it to yourself well, and it takes a really long time, and the stuff I've made is not proper corsets, it's just, a boned bodice, but it holds everything in, and it's almost like getting a hug.
It does. Yeah. No, I know what you mean. Just by, sorry, this is a really simple example, but there's a Gertie pattern that I've used, and I put boning into the bodice, like from the waist up. And it actually does feel comforting.
Yeah, I think I remember in high school I got it was a corseted bra to wear under my grad dress, and I always nicknamed it my gladiator bra. And it is kind of that you feel set up and ready for, well, not ready for anything, but you know what I mean. It's like you've got this.
That's right.
This strength that comes from this outer garment.
I was thinking that word, strength. It gives you strength to get on with the day and get on with whatever you've got to do.
So I know that Morgan Donner has done a video where she wore a corset for a week that she made for herself and fitted to herself properly. Right. And of course, you don't wear a corset directly onto the skin. The historical ones, you'd wear your chemise and then the corset over it.
Yes.
Unlike every movie ever. And she was quite comfortable.
Okay.
So, yeah, let's take back the corset.
Bring the corset back. Hey, actually, if we're all working from home,
we can wear corsets.
I know.
I mean, I'm trying to decide what to wear to the virtual frock tales. We thought Maybe the Brisbane Swillettes might do what we did on Friday night and do a bit of a Zoom party thing. And I'm going to see if I can fit into my pink Marilyn dress that I made in 2007.
Oh,
No, 2018? 2017.
2 years or 3 years ago?
I think it was 3 years ago.
Yeah.
But that one has serious boning in it.
Mm-hmm. And it's got awesome shape.
It does. And it also has a big bow.
Yes.
And if there's something that most sewers like, it's a big-ass bow.
Awesome. Oh,
Well,
that's good. Okay.
Everyone keep your spirits up.
Yep.
Don't forget to check on Instagram. Everyone's on there sharing as much positivity as they can.
Yep. In all sorts of formats too.
Yes. And, it's okay to be upset.
Yes.
It's okay to nap more. I've napped for a total of 8 hours this weekend. So, I'm ready for my work week.
In the sewing community, you can be creative, get fabric that suits you, styles that suit you, talk to people who either do or don't have the same interest, and it's good.
And we'll support you no matter what, because we love supporting everyone.
We do.
We do. All right. Well, you have an awesome day, Maria.
You have a wonderful day too, Amy.
And we'll chat soon.
Yep. Thanks for listening, everyone, and we'll talk to you tomorrow. Bear with us while we get our daily format sorted. At this stage, we're looking to broadcast Monday to Friday because weekends are weekends. And what I'll try and do is make sure that we've got a different person that you're listening to from Monday to Friday. Keep your spirits up, stay safe, and we'll talk to you again tomorrow. Thanks for listening to So Organised Style Daily Podcast.